my god! Daniel! What's happening? Daniel, calm down!
Every once in a while, when I'm in the middle of playing a game for a review, I think to myself, I'm doing this all wrong. And that's kind of what happened when I was playing Life is Strange 2. Now, the collector's edition is just about to come out from Square Enix. For $70 US, you get the vinyl soundtrack, you get little figures, and you get an art book, and you get some other little doodads for super fans of this game, but also for those that have been hovering around this very cool experience, but haven't sort of dipped their toe in yet.
Okay, let's go.
Adventure games are not the first thing that I race towards. I enjoy them and I like them, but I think that I don't always have the patience for them. And that's one way that I thought to myself, I'm doing this all wrong while I was playing this game, is that I need to have a little more patience with this narrative that's given to me. But the other way is that, you know, we live in a binge culture, and as a reviewer, that's what your job is all the time. You're binging stuff all the time so you can get back and report to the people what you think about all this stuff.
Damn, that is crazy.
And this is not a game that really benefits from binging. This is a game to savor. This is a game, I think, that should be played, you know, almost like you play a chapter and then you walk away from it for a week and you think about, you ruminate about the adventures that you've just experienced in this adventure game, and then you come back to it a week later and you play the next chapter. For those that don't know, it's split up over a bunch of episodes, and Square Enix worked with the developer to release them sporadically over months, and across a year, basically, people were able to download new episodes, new chapters of this experience. So it's very much like episodic television or an episodic movie, because these episodes last, I don't know, 4 hours or something. They last a good chunk of time if you know, endeavor to get the most out of them and potentially replay some bits, because this is a choice-based narrative. It's kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure. Worked effectively for the first Life is Strange title, which admittedly I've only played a little tiny bit of. I didn't review that game. I think Ben and Jose reviewed that when it first came out. Now I really want to go and play that, because Life is Strange 2, well, it's a freaking masterpiece.
Ow, ow, ow!
This is just an extraordinary, dramatic, interactive experience where you feel really connected to the characters. And if you know anything about Life is Strange, it's a very apt title, because strange things go on in the lives of these two kids.
What happened?
You play as Sean, the older brother of a kid named Daniel who has some powers. And right away at the beginning of the game, something horrible happens, and Sean and Daniel are on the run from the cops and from the mystery that has erupted out of this moment, and the confusion that has erupted out of this moment. Sean begins to train Daniel to kind of help him hone the powers that he has. They're very much, it's telekinetic powers. He has the ability to lift things, very Jedi-like or X-Men-like.
Damn, you know what you're doing.
He's got force powers, I guess, right? Like he can crush things if he wants to. He can be incredibly violent, and I think he's about 10 years old, so he's, you know, just a fountain of bottled up emotions, and every once in a while rage will get the better of Daniel and he'll do something extraordinary, which has massive ripples and repercussions.
Hey!
Your face! Come on. I wasn't gonna drop it on you.
You know, Sean is grappling with some heavy, unspeakable tragedy, but also this new weight on his shoulders of having to be the caretaker for this kid and keep them alive and keep them safe.
No, not right now. We stick together.
The beautiful thing is the complexities of the family dynamic and the responsibilities that siblings have to each other. It's going to make you think about all of that. It's going to make you think about the relationships that you have in your life. That's a very commendable gift that this game delivers, and it's not to be overlooked.
I'm sorry.
What happens as these two kids, who are in constant peril, travel, is that people around these kids start to recognize the power that is, you know, is apparent in Daniel, and they try to take advantage of that, or, you know, the power takes advantage of them in certain ways. And it's wonderful storytelling, but yes, you have to kind of slow down to groove with it, and I had to force myself to do it. I also played through the Captain Spirit game, which was the freebie that kind of, it was like a prelude to some of the stuff that was going to happen in Life is Strange 2, and that's a free download, so if you want to just try it, you can download Captain Spirit on the platforms that it's available for, and just enjoy that game and get a taste of it. If you've never played Life is Strange at all, that's the first one to kind of jump into, but it does tie into some of the stuff that you're going to see in Life is Strange 2.
Yes!
This isn't state-of-the-art, visuals. It's not like the height of what the Unreal Engine is capable of.
Dude, calm down.
The stylization of these images and these environments is very beautifully done. It's very painterly, it's very artistic and creative, and, it's really wonderful.
Never seen you get so jacked up over a nice view before.
And one of the great elements in the game is that Sean is an artist as well, and every once in a while, and this plays into, you must have patience, Vic, kind of aspect of me never, playing games like this, or not often playing games like this, because I'm like, okay, let's get on to the next thing. But at moments throughout the game, you have to stop as a character and observe the world that the developers have crafted for us, and then sketch it. And it takes time, but it's also really, hypnotic, and it's beautiful, and it's, especially compounded with not only this gorgeous art that the artist did, but also this great score that's permeating throughout the game, and all of the wonderful musical artists that also complement the soundtrack.
Oh, man. We haven't played Guitar Fighter for years.
You never beat my score.
Sound effects of nature all around. It's just stunning and hypnotic and trance-like, and a great moment of respite because you're on an emotional kind of journey in this game, and you're in constant dread that something is going to happen with these two kids. And I don't know if it's because I'm a father, and every time there are children in danger or turmoil, it gets right here.
Shit!
Where are we going?
I was captivated, but I also consumed too much of it at one time, and sometimes the pacing of it and the slight sort of hiccups in the storytelling, or the interesting script choices, which sound very North American, but also not as based in Paris, and I don't know if there were ever translation issues, but it doesn't flow quite the same way as like an American-produced television show does.
You guys still don't get it. This is work, not a goddamn summer camp.
I think it kind of leans in that direction, and I think it honors a lot of the work that has come out of American pop culture in some really wonderful ways, and I'm sure that part of the attraction for this Life is Strange franchise that they're building is, this is an exotic part of the world to developers in Paris, and I think they like to revel in that, similarly to the way that Remedy loved to work with, Alan Wake in the Pacific Northwest. I guess it's got that little Twin Peaks kind of X-Files mystique about it. And certainly that is something that permeates off the screen with this, especially as we dive into the more mystery surrounding Daniel's powers.
Whoa, Daniel. That's amazing.
Sometimes there were conversations which were all about building character and about sort of experiencing the moments, but they happen a little more slowly than they do when you're just watching, a 2-hour narrative story on TV, or, you go to a movie or you watch a show or something, which has a finite amount of time allocated to tell that story. This one meanders a bit, which is part of the nature of the entertainment here. You want to sort of explore every conversational choice with characters, and sometimes the tone doesn't quite match with the dialogue that you just had with somebody, and it's because that the voice actors had to read the lines in a million different ways.
What is this, an interrogation?
No. I'm sorry.
Okay, time's up. Get the fuck out of here.
And I think, had I not been trying to just cram it all into my brain over the course of a few days and let this live with me, the emotional beats would matter even more than they do.
Stop your bitching or get out of here.
But I'm not blind to the artistic beauty that is evident here. I felt things. I was very concerned about everybody. I was absolutely taken aback by the artistry in all aspects. The narrative, the performances, the music, the visuals. This is an extraordinary, extraordinary game. So, in short, you don't have to buy the collector's edition, and certainly it's been out for a little while, so maybe you can get this game on sale for the platform of your choice.
Right. I'll just bust out my platinum card.
But I do think you should play Life is Strange 2, and I think this game is for everybody. But you don't have to be a super fan of adventure games. I think it's incredibly accessible. It's very easy to play. It's also one that I would encourage people to play with someone beside them, as if you were watching a good show, and maybe get some back and forth dialogue with a loved one or a friend beside you, talking about some of the choices that you have to make.
Hey, let's play fetch with the pup.
But you're in for you know, an amazing ride, and it's a really fantastic showcase of another way that games can touch people and matter to people. And probably what you're going to do, like I'm going to do, is go back and check out Life is Strange 1 if you haven't checked that out already. I certainly intend to. I loved my experience with this, and congratulations to everybody that picks up that collector's edition. I know that you're going to have a terrific time going through all that stuff. But this is an amazing game. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.